Hi, I'm Molly.
And I'm Jamie, and this is our From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast. As the owners of Hired Hand website software, we've been developing websites and creating internet marketing strategies for livestock breeders for the past 10 years.
The majority of our customers are involved in the breeding of registered animals, such as Texas Longhorns, Highland cattle, horses, and white-tailed deer, where the pedigrees are very important. The From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast examines many of the differences in raising pedigreed livestock for maximum profit. Join us and learn what we're covering today.
Hi, Kory. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Molly. Thank you.
So you're Kory Wayment with Wayment Longhorns, and from your website, I can see that you've been breeding since about 2019. Why don't you go ahead and start by telling us just a little bit about yourself, your family, your overall operation?
You bet. Born and raised in northern Utah. Been here my whole life. Probably will never leave. I'm pretty biased to the state of Utah, but after college, I went on a little, almost 10-year baseball career that was fun, and at the age of 28 had to hang them up. So after that, jumped into real estate, got married, got 4 cute kiddos, and now some Longhorns.
So how does? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I can say we're busy. We're busy.
So having to hang up your cleats from your baseball career, how does the whole ranching life fare on your body then?
Thankfully, I made it pretty much my entire career without any major injuries, so I'm pretty healthy. I've probably been hurt more working cattle than I have baseball, so I got lucky. But the cattle keep me in shape. I miss that. So
nice. So why Longhorns? I'm sure since you took a while, it seems like, to kind of follow this path. I'm sure there's lots of different breeds in Utah that might have been a more logical fit. So talk to us about what made you decide on Longhorns.
First of all, just something different. I drive up my road and look at pretty black cows all day, every day. So something different. I grew up on a dairy farm. I'm not tough enough for that. So, I told my parents that's not going to happen. But yeah, growing up, in the industry, agriculture, it's in my blood. The older I get, seems like the more I'm drawn to that life. So Longhorns, I just bought my first cow and calf on a whim. Just the aura around them. It reminds me of a horse, just the energy and things like that around them, I think just really attracted me to them.
They each have kind of their own unique personality, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So how did you find the first ones? Was it an accident? Did you stumble upon them, or had you kind of started researching them?
No, as a matter of fact, we have a classified website here in Utah that's pretty popular. You can sell everything and anything on it. And an older gentleman had posted this cow and calf and, advertised it. I think she was 8, registered. And I had never had anything registered or papered. I didn't really, know what that was all about. But he advertised it with a nice little bull calf. And the calf was just a couple days old. So he was going on a church mission. So drove down there, brought him home. And that's how I found my first set. Yeah.
And how many do you have now?
And we're up to about 25 and counting this spring, obviously.
So how have you gone about adding these additional ones since the first one? Nora.
Hey, Nora, I'll be done in a minute. See you sneaking. Probably like everybody, we have a budget. And so, I have an expensive budget, I've learned, expensive taste, I've learned, with a small budget. But really, shortly after I bought that first pair, I met Scott Pace and Titan there. And that's really who I started buying all the other ones from. And obviously love that bull Gold Mine and got to see him on a frequent basis because they were just right down the road from us. And yeah, that's how I found the next half a dozen or so.
Nice. So obviously the Paces have a very established program, very knowledgeable kind of about their breeding strategies, and have seen a lot of success in their consignments and sales and private treaty. Where do your goals fit in? Like when you look at a breeder like that, that's been at it for quite a bit longer and has kind of reached some of those milestones. How do you go about setting your goals, and where do you see yourself?
Like you said, they've been doing it close to 30 years now, maybe more. And, just when I met them and they kind of explained the experience and the longevity of their career is just kind of, that's, I think, what you shoot for in any career is establish yourself and then try and make a dent in the market. But yeah, it would be nice to be recognized. I'll be about 80 by then, but it's okay.
Well, where do you see yourself in like the next 5 years? Tell us about maybe one or two of your goals.
Yeah, in the next 5 years, we've invested in some AI work. We've got some younger cows coming up. I don't know that we'll ever get to the pace level, but just a more consistent production. Obviously it takes a few years to even realize what you got, especially with our background, not really understanding how the registration, the pedigrees go. So really it's been 4 years of studying pedigrees and what traits that I tend to like. And I'm finding that changes almost on a daily basis. So finding something, sticking with it. Yeah.
So let's shift gears a little bit here. Can you try to explain to everyone listening, maybe not watching, what your brand looks like and how you came up with it?
Yeah. It pays a little homage to the old baseball career. It's the shape of home base on a baseball diamond. So it's simple, pretty hard to mess up unless I'm doing the branding, but it's very easy to identify and pretty straightforward. That was important to us on a brand.
So was the brand design a family effort, or did you know what you wanted and wanted it tied to baseball right from the start?
It was pretty much right from the get-go. Sports is a big hobby of mine, and really the cattle are, a fun hobby. And so they bring happiness. They, are wonderful to experience. And so I just wanted to kind of keep the two together. Yeah.
So when you've had babies that are your own, ones that you haven't purchased, are you naming them at all related to baseball, or no? Are you just picking names here and there?
Yeah, we're just picking them here and there. Our current herd sire, his name is Showboat, so we've kind of tried to stay with his name in most occasions. But yeah, mostly just with the mom and dad. That seems to be protocol for the most part.
Nice. So now that you have Longhorns, what's your favorite part?
Probably my favorite part is the challenge. The challenge, it's just so new to us, and I love a challenge. Trying to figure out what's going to be a good combo, and then obviously the basics of horn measurement and color production, and like the attitudes and the dispositions, and it's just the wide range of things that you don't really find in the beef or dairy industry.
Mm-hmm. Who is your favorite in your own pasture?
So that first pair we bought, just a minute, buddy. That first pair we bought, like I said, that gentleman thought that was a little bull calf. We had her for about 2 weeks, and that is not a bull calf. So anyway, she is our favorite cow, and it's by a landslide. It's just kind of funny that he thought she was a he, and we actually wrote him when he was on his mission. We took her to Reno, and she won, reserve grand champion, and she's still 3 years old and pushing on 80 inches. And so it's kind of funny that by far our best cow, he thought was a bull calf. So
And what's her name?
her name is Star of the Show.
Okay. So a very fitting name then as well, as it turns out.
Yeah, she gets a lot of love for sure. And she just had a really nice calf, and we got her AI'd with the Rebel HR. So
nice.
Love what you're hearing? Be sure to check out our Pickup Truck Confessions. It's a video series where we hop in the truck or rental car and interview a variety of breeders about what drives their passion for their livestock, how they got started in the breed of their choice, marketing tips, and more. And now, back to the podcast.
All right, so let's go through a few Longhorn questions here, kind of rapid fire questions. So who is your all-time favorite Longhorn cow? And you can only pick one.
That's Unlucky, is it? Yeah, that's a pretty easy one. We saw her sell in Grapevine. That was our first sell ever. We watched that one, so that's forever imprinted.
Okay. Is there anything special you like about her?
Yeah, the color was really what was amazing, but then the horns and, my untrained eye, I can't see a flaw in her, so she just looks like perfect to us. So,
have you heard the song they wrote about her?
I've listened to it. Yeah, I saw that. I need to do it again, but
yeah pretty
special.
Clever.
Yeah.
All right, all-time favorite Longhorn bull.
So the bull's got to be Goldmine. Again, first one I had to experience up close and was able to pet, and that's got to be probably one of my favorites forever. And then we're really liking Rebel HR. We've got a bunch of joined that syndicate and stuff. So those two are probably up there, Concealed Weapon, a few others, but I'd say Goldmine.
Well, and Goldmine also has that very unique coloring too. You don't see that many bulls in that kind of light yellow, kind of, and the color he throws is also very impressive. So
never know what you're going to get with that gene.
Yeah,
awesome.
All right, last one. All-time favorite Longhorn breeder or Longhorn herd.
Favorite herd? There's some mind-blowing ones. Daryl Dickinson. That is a really cool, diverse, multi-face operation. I hope to make it out there one time to see that operation. That looks like a pretty neat herd.
That's what I was just going to ask, is if you've ever made the trip out there. That'd be quite a haul for you all, I assume.
It'll happen for sure, but
maybe a little summer vacation, and the kids won't know any different, right?
Yeah, we'll probably leave the trailer home, but we'll see.
Might regret that. I don't know.
I know.
So we talked a little bit about Unlucky Dice and Goldmine and Rebel HR. Is there a specific animal, whether it be a cow or a bull, that you aspire to, that's your ideal example of an animal that you kind of are aspiring to breed towards?
Yeah, those two cows and bull, they just have everything that we're looking for, milk, productivity, a gene that'll throw any color anytime, it seems, disposition incredible. I haven't been around Unlucky Dice, but Goldmine's disposition incredible. It's just, for us, that's the top tier. We're still new, like I said, that could change tomorrow.
So maybe more, more what traits you're going for, not necessarily something to compare it to.
Yeah, yep. And it has changed, the cattle IQ that Daryl talks about a lot. We're starting to learn a little bit and learning how to identify which ones might be a little sharper, which ones might not be so sharp. So yeah, we're heading that way.
Good. Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to? I know you talked a little bit about pieces, but is there anyone else that kind of helped you get started in the breed that you'd like to thank?
I'd give a shout out to Wade Wagner. He's been a riot to get to know. He's been up to the ranch once, and just his energy, his positivity around the herd, around the breed, awesome. Wade, good job.
And he's also there in Utah, right?
He is. He's in southern Utah.
Okay. So how far apart are you guys?
We are probably 3 to 4 hours away. Yeah.
Not horrible then.
No, get there, no time.
Good. All right. So tell us your funniest Longhorn related story to date. Besides, I mean, the bull calf, heifer calf is a pretty good story, but
yeah.
Do you have any other ones?
The funniest thing that we've had happen, I don't know that we've had anything good. Obviously, we've had a few heads get stuck. Always fun to cut a neighbor's wrought iron fence. For us, it's buying our first pair thinking we were getting a bull calf, and here we have a reserve grand champion.
I'd say that's a pretty good one. That one's hard to beat.
Yeah. He's kicking himself for selling that pair for the price he did.
So if you could go back in time and change one thing about when you were getting started with Longhorns, what would it be?
I bought the first dozen with not a whole lot of knowledge about pedigree, and I'd probably research pedigrees a little bit more, and just maybe even visit some big operations. That would have been really good as a new breeder, just to see what can be done, and maybe some medium-sized operations, and just see how different people operate in a climate like ours, colder weather. That's probably all I do.
So you talk about researching pedigrees more, so it's a good segue into kind of our next topic. When our website's the tool that you go to when you start to research pedigrees, do you find yourself just kind of digging into a bunch of them online, or how do you go about that?
Social media probably starts the rabbit hole. And then, after that, we'll just go from page to page, and it seems like every time something for sale pops up, we'll go to that person's website and look at their history, and probably pretty similar to about most folks.
When you're on a Longhorn website, so after social, when you get to one of the websites, what catches your attention the most or makes you want to stop and read or learn more about that program? Not necessarily a specific animal, but about the breeder themselves.
So for us, breeders that are in our same climate, I feel like I can learn the most from them. Cold weather, 4 seasons. Those are really the ranches that I like to look at. There's not a lot of them, up north, I guess you would say. It seems like, compared to in the warmer climate. But the ones that experience snow and minus 10 degrees, I like looking at their programs and their herds and different things, just because I can relate to them a little bit more.
So what are the last 3 Longhorns or Longhorn websites in your search history?
The last 3. Well, the Craft Ranch is probably the last one.
That's a very different climate.
Yeah. Here I go. So we are going to get some 2-year-olds from there in March. So that's the last one. Daryl's, I was reading about, I can't remember who, but Daryl's was one that I visit frequently. Just love his content and his sense of humor. And then a third one, I may have been spying on Wade Wagner a little bit, see what he's got in Utah.
Gotta kind of keep up with the competition, right?
Yeah.
Are you willing to share which on Wade's site caught your eye, or no? Is that just for you to know?
What's that? Oh, Wade doesn't keep anything private, so I mean the whole world knows. But yeah, he's got a couple I like.
So aside from your own hired hand website, which one is your favorite?
I know Wade's is. I know the Craft one is, right? If I remember right. Probably those 2. Yeah. There.
What do you like most about Wade's website?
Same thing about my website and everybody else. Is just so easy to navigate and very clean, and you get your information that you're looking for right off the get-go. That's hard to beat in a industry like this, where you could put probably a million bells and whistles on if you wanted, just clean.
So let's talk a little bit about your website. How long have you been live now?
Let's see, a month.
Okay. So a month from recording, and maybe by the time this comes out, you'll have been live for about 2 months. So very new, still getting used to it, yes?
Still getting used to it, but for a guy with no IT experience, I feel pretty comfortable.
Good. And what's your URL so everyone can go and visit?
It's WaymentLonghorns.com.
And Wayment is Wayment.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a little hiccup when I typed that in for the first time. I wanted to put an A there. So
yes. Yep.
So if you had to describe your hired hand website in 3 words or less, what would they be?
3 words or less. It's hard for me. Easy, clean, and user-friendly with a hyphen. So it's 3 words.
We'll let it slide. All right. Okay. What made you choose hired hand for your website?
Let's see here. I think I saw an advertisement in Reno, 2001, 2 years ago. And I started researching then. I think I reached out and had a couple of questions then, wasn't quite ready, but started noticing that seems to be a pretty good platform that obviously a lot of cattlemen in different industries are using. So yeah, just the consistency was really nice. So I know if I go to one page and another page, both put on by hired hand, they're going to be pretty easy to navigate.
So going back to maybe where you're at a point where you can share some lessons learned or some advice for newer breeders, talk to us a little bit about what considerations or decisions you made when you were developing your own website.
Obviously, we wanted to keep it true to brand. The colors, the branding, just the whole feel. We want to keep it very consistent. And then just kind of, pick your choice and stay with it and try and, be consistent with your original plans.
That's good advice. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your breeding program, about your website, anything we didn't cover?
No, this definitely got me thinking about, herds and all sorts of good things. So just awesome.
Well, good. Well, we will put your web address in the show notes, as well as all of the fellow breeders that you mentioned. And I just really appreciate you joining us today, and hopefully we see you down the road soon.
Yes, thank you so much.